honor to be there. I think this year was special. It was special in Egypt. This year was special also in the open source world because open source enthusiasts have celebrated the 20th birthday of Linux kernel project. Certainly this is not the most important event, but for today's subject it is of some importance. By releasing its kernel under the GPL license 20 years ago, Linus Torvalds completed a more ambitious project of a completely free and open source operating system. The new project, which I initiated kind of 10 years before, aimed at giving the control of software back to the users. And just as a reminder, software license under the GPL ensures that users have freedom to run the program, to access the code, to redistribute it, and to improve the software. If we look at the 90s decade following the Linux kernel project, we can observe that not only this project was a nice idea for programmers, for geeks, but it allowed an incredible technological and economic bloom. I'm unable to say if the internet development had been possible thanks to free and open source software, or if free and open source software development had been possible only thanks to the internet. There's many people who have thought about this, and I cannot answer, but one thing is sure, both have grown together, and removing free and open source software from the internet, it will not look the same. Let's imagine the internet without Apache, the web server, PHP, Python, and Java, the languages, PostgreSQL or MySQL database server. These all are open source software and are part of the internet infrastructure. Even the TCP IP stack is free, DNS and so on, all things managing internet. So this is about technology. But during the 90s, this technology have been mostly developed in research labs, in universities. At the end of the 90s, business people have begun to look for viable business models on top of free and open source software. Of course, the concept of living on free software have made some people laughing at the beginning, but this was not the goal. And now, it looks like some people are succeeding. Mandriva is one of this company, of course, but there are many others. The ecosystem of free and open source software is complete. We have small companies, you have big companies, you have young companies, you have companies which succeeded for a long time. And this makes an extensive networks of companies working together for a successful technology. Most of companies in open source were young and small at the beginning, but big players have finally joined the game. CERN, HP, IBM, even Microsoft. We will have a talk from Microsoft guy. And this is good things. This is really good news. Why this is good news? I think that free and open source software can bring real added value to users, business, and governments for three main reasons. The first reason is about security, because by allowing permanent and extensive source code auditing, free and open source software are incredibly more secure than closed source. National defense and security cannot rely on algorithms and software they do not manage, and free and open source software can help them in getting sovereign technology on this subject. Second reason is innovation and economy. Virtualization and knowledge sharing allow a great level of innovation, as we could observe in the later 20 years. Employment and economic development is the last point I want to focus on. Free and open source industry is relying on a heterogeneous network of small and medium enterprise and also big companies. In European Union, for instance, public entities have showcased that they can develop a local network of IT actors when they choose open source technologies, while the choice of proprietary software at kind of any action on local economy. So, as an industrial actor of free and open source software, I can say that this model has been validated from a technological point of view and can bring sustainable economic development in the IT field. So, as the free and open source software has begun to enter the IT world by the network, by the internet, replacing the network stack, the operating system, so the infrastructure, and now they begin to enter the business application world. We think that it's not stopping now, and if we look at the new market trend, which is about cloud computing, I think free and open source software has a great role to play into. Accessing any resource from the internet is, in my opinion, the achievement of the model initiated with the internet and open source development. This new paradigm will certainly lead the major developments of the next decade. If cloud computing is dominated by proprietary software, the consecutive vendor locking will be a real disaster for IT industry, like it was for applications before. If free and open source players are part of the game, it can be a key for a shared development of IT industry all over the world, spread equally in all countries. I'm trying to make some words on the kind of success stories, focusing on government adoption experiments we've been involved to for most part of some words about success story made by other players of the free and open source software world. So I will present first. I will present the company a little bit, what is its activities, and so that you can understand in which way we could help government adoption of free software. Mandriva Linux is a 10 years old company which main work was to build a distribution for desktop use, just to compete with Microsoft on PCs. It is the main target was to make an easy-to-use operating system, and it gained a big popularity in Europe, in Brazil, and in Asia. All the activities of Mandriva is about research to bring always innovation in this Linux distribution and other products. And we could say that Mandriva is a success story of the open source world, because we have 5 million registered users. Some people use Mandriva Linux we didn't know, but at least we know that 5 million people is using it. And we have now built a strong ecosystem with a vertical stack of applications for every kind of use on the IT infrastructure. We have subsidiaries in Russia and in Brazil, and the Mandriva distribution is available in a lot of languages, thanks to work in the company, but also thanks to contribution from outside of the company, and it's well distributed in 90 countries. On top of the products, we built services. We can do support, training, we can do custom developments on top of existing products, and we can address kind of every kind of users, from the personal use, accessing the Mandriva turnkey solutions, until large corporations or public sectors if they need specific developments. Here is an overview of our products portfolio. So we have for the consumers a different version with different kind of supports, and you can have a USB key. You just plug on your computer and you start a Mandriva distribution like this without installation. We have integration with hardware vendor in the OEM world, and we have products for enterprise world for managing infrastructure, like the MES, which is a distribution for servers, or POS2, for instance, which is for managing large assets. In the research world, we are used to work in a collaborative way with multi-partners, and we have strong leads in France, but outside of France too. In France with the National Institute in Computing, in RIA, Bull, which is a private company, IRI, which is a specialized research institute about free and open source software. And so we have a leading open source technologies included in our products. Here are the main axes, research axes we're working on. We work on ergonomy and functions, which is mainly targeted to personal use. We work on tools and methods for building good developments. We work on security and scientific computing, HPC, and now we're involved also in a research project about cloud computing. So I want to present first what is the context of the free and open source software in France and then in Europe. Historically, the public sector was the first and the most important client of free and open source company. It remained, until recently, it remained like this. And we work smoothly because with the public sector, because the main government offices are located around Paris, which is where are located our headquarters. And today, the public sector invests 20% of the IT budget in free and open source software. The activities, the activities public sector is investing on is about services, on custom developments and training and support, and on research. So all the sector we are addressing. In European Union, there were for some years, like we had some words about a big work on bringing free and open source software into the economy and into the regulation of economy also. The main goals were to have interoperability. I won't say too much because he presented this better than me. So this to allow all citizens to access data. I repeat this because it's really important. It was the main goal. And get rid of every problem of locking vendors when proprietary software evolves and you have to pay and so for grades. Another goal was to create an economic, to help economic development of IT industry. Free and open European Union people have understood that with free and open source software you can build a local IT economy and you can build a comprehensive network of companies, and innovation is really faster when you work with free and open source software. Another point is about self-reliance and sovereignty, so that each country can manage the technology they use for security, for defense, and for storing and accessing the data that citizen can the data citizen, and to ensure that all citizens have access to this data in the same way. And another point, but which is not the most important, which was about the cost. Sometimes some people were used to think that cost was the key improvement in free and open source software. It is not the main concern, but free and open source software can bring some economy. So what have done European Union to achieve these goals? First, about interoperability. Open document has been chosen as a standard. So, as said, open document is available in a free software like OpenOffice, LibreOffice, KOffice. It's implemented in different free softwares. And in more of defining open document as a standard, some institution, local institution or national institution have decided to migrate existing machine to the use of OpenOffice. For instance, Munich city in Germany was one of the first success stories about OpenOffice deployment at a large scale. French public safety force, the Gendarmerie Nationale, also, I will give some words about this. The figures was a really large deployment of OpenOffice on all computers of this institution, and so on. And thanks to our friend Nelly Kroes and some other evangelists in politics of the European Union, free and open source software ideas have been brought from the technical world to the newspapers and to the political world, so that people can understand the interest of playing with free and open source software rather than proprietary softwares. Maybe this presentation will be available, I think, on the website of the event, so that you can have a look at these links, which are in a more detailed way the arguments and the explanation of why European Union has to use standards and open source software. Interoperability has been implemented in public entities, but also European Union has pushed enterprise and has pushed consumers to use standards on open source software. For instance, they lot of when you make a publicly available website, there are some requirements, some recommendation to make it accessible for every kind of users, removing all the flash animations and that's kind of stuff which make that disabled people, for instance, cannot access the information. So public websites have to comply with these requirements. European Union has pushed free and open source software also by funding great research projects. The framework of the research project, called framework program, today we are at the 7th one. 50 billion euros are taken in this project, and one part of this, I don't know the part, not everything is for IT industry, but a big part of this is for IT industry, and all projects funded by this must be open source. So this is a real engagement from European Union that the research project they fund will remain open source, so that all the industry can have access to this. And on a national level, even in France, for instance, is funding research project on its own, and open source is always a prerequisite that when a public entity, when a government fund research project, the project must be open source. At the end, I wanted to show figures in Europe. This concerns Europe, and this is just to show that the development of free and open source software has not been impacted at all by the crisis, by the economic financial crisis, and it continues to grow up. And this is one of the best healthy. The more healthy industry in European Union. So I'm presenting now some success story of Mandriva deploying free and open source software. For instance, the French Ministry of Equipment in the not first year, but some times ago, they had some servers running Windows NT, which were near the end of their life cycle. This server was spread all over a lot of sites, a lot of servers, and there were a lot of workstations connected to these servers. And they wanted to study the whole ecosystem to show if open source was not a solution rather than just having again a new version of Windows. So 1,500 servers have been migrated from Windows NT to Mandriva Linux corporate server edition, and workstation, not all the workstation, but a lot of them has been migrated to Mandriva Linux desktop. We help also France Telecom R&D, which is the telecom company, public telecom company in France, to deploy Mandriva Linux. But this is not only about deployment. It's just to show that open source company can help in many ways in implementing free and open source software, and not only in bringing products, but in this case, for instance, we dedicated a qualified engineer just to bring a high level of support and bring on-site assistance for around 500 people in the different sites, research sites of France Telecom R&D. We have also worked with Dassault Aviation, which is aviation company. They wanted to deploy Linux on a large scale. They had issue with commercial software which was certified for next distribution. Ministry of Culture migration from Windows to Mandriva distribution. And not only in France, but also in other countries, we help to bring open source software. In Angola, we help to we did just technology transfer to build a distribution, a local distribution with the help of a local partner. And I will just focus on this on an important project which were done in Brazil, where the Brazil government wanted to deploy free software and local based on local hardware and local software vendors to educational world, and the goal was to bring 1.5 million units to the school with laptop dedicated to children. So the laptop was a rugged laptop, specific laptop. So in partnership with hardware vendor Positivo in Brazil and with Intel, which provided the chipset, and the office in Brazil, we achieved this partnership, and this was really a success because this is now deployed in Brazil. We designed for this users, pupils who are not used to use computers can use them easily. Okay, so this was for the Brazil case, and I will talk about the last case, which were about research project. Today, French government want to have an open source solution for accessing cloud computing. Talking about infrastructure, platform, and application as a service. And as of today, many operators can bring solutions, but they are all specific. Some are closed source, some are open source. But French government want to have something more. Want to have a unique way of accessing all these resources. So it funded a project with a lot of partners. We work with public research labs. We work with private research and with a lot of industrial partners, small companies, medium companies. Some are software vendors, some are cloud providers and so on, and we work together around an open source solution to bring a brokering solution. That means that the user can just choose what he needs on the cloud, and the system just allocate the resources on the cloud. So we are bringing a proof of concept based on system management, which will allow users to use this brokering solution on cloud computing. Okay, so I won't extend too much on other case study or the success story of open source deployment in Europe, but you can, on the link on this page, you can find a lot of success story just about OpenOffice, which have been largely deployed in Europe. Thank you.